executive summary of an executive summary. Think of it that way. But let's go back to Ramayana itself, is how it was born. Is written by the sage called, or composed by a sage called Valmiki. Very good. Now, Valmiki is not the name he was born with. Right? The name came because of something. And the name came because of, there's a backstory. I don't have time for telling you the backstory, but something happened. He was actually known to be a highway robber or a dacoit. But how he became a dacoit is also another story. So we're going to skip through that and say he was a dacoit. And he met some great sages. So in certain Puranas, it says the 7 sages. In some it says Narada. So we'll go with Narada. And there's some dialogue about life and life's existentialism that this dacoit or robber could not answer completely. Very quickly, Narada says, you know that you're stealing from people, ambushing people and stealing from them, that there are karmic reactions for it. So he said, oh, okay, I know that, but I'm doing it for my family. So Narada asks him, well, if you're doing it for your family, do you think your family will share the karmic reaction that comes from it? Because they're sharing the exploits of it, the asset side, will they share the liabilities as well? He said, yeah, why not? That's what family does. Narada said, ask them. So he goes home and asks his family, hey, you're enjoying all the benefits, will you take the liabilities as well with me? They said, no, that's yours. This is what you have to do for us, but we don't take the liabilities. So it was a shocker for him, and he came back to Narada and he said, I think I need a change in career. This is not what I had expected. I thought they will share with me. So Narada gives him the best way to understand what you want to do in life is that first you need to be more spiritually centered. So sidebar is, whenever you have to make a decision, please don't make a decision when your emotions are very high about some topic. Either you're very angry, you're very sad, or you are so happy that you can't think straight. That's not the time to make good decisions. Good decisions are made when you feel grounded and centered. So if you swing in this way, to this side with negative emotions, quite possibly the decision you'll make, you'll regret. And if you make decisions when you're swung to this side of the positive, overjoyed, and you make some decisions, quite possibly you'll be disappointed. So it's important to make decisions when you're centered, and most importantly, centered spiritually, so that you can see things from a bigger perspective, a higher perspective. Here's an example I always give. So we're standing in front of Herman Hall. Herman Hall is that way, somewhere there. That way, okay? Now, let's talk of IIT Tower. I think that's a little better example. So when you're standing in front of IIT Tower, the elevation that you look at from standing in front of it, the building will look to you in one way. But if you look at it from 20 feet above ground, the building appears different to you. It's the same building. When you look at that building, when you're 100 feet above, or let's say a mile above, you get a bigger context of things, bird's eye view, as they say. So the higher you get, the better context you get. Is that right? Similarly, spiritually speaking, or consciousness-wise speaking, the higher the consciousness, the better context you have of getting a well-rounded picture of your circumstances. So that's what Valmiki was told. And he was told that the best way to do this is to chant a name called Rama. Just 2 syllables. Is it easy for any one of us to say Rama? Say?
Rama.
No, don't be shy, it's okay. Say Rama. But he could not even utter that. He could not say Rama. So he was given the same in reverse. Ma, Ra. And said, just do that. So when you repeat Ma, Ra constantly, it sounds like Rama. Anyway, long story, he recited that or chanted that for a period of about 6 yuga cycles, or 6 yugas, which is some thousands of years. We're not going to calculate all that right now. And he was such involved in that meditation that ants started crawling on him. If ever an ant crawls on you, you have some sensation. But he was so absorbed that he couldn't realize that there was ants crawling on him. And ants are also sensitive. If you move, they will go away. But if you don't move, they think you're a piece of log. And slowly, slowly, over time, an entire ant hill formed around him. And in Sanskrit, ant hill is called Valmika. And someone that comes from an ant hill is Valmiki. So for example, the father of Sita Devi, what was his name? Janaka. So one of the names of Sita is Janaki, one who comes from Janaka, although she was not born to him, but that's how it is. So this is Valmiki. So Valmiki, now he is very, very spiritually well realized, self-realized, become a great sage. And one day he is walking from his hermitage to go and take a bath in a river. So as he's walking, he has an assistant with him, and the scene is just very, very beautiful. The trees are verdant. There are birds chirping and cooing everywhere. Fragrant flowers are in full bloom. And the river is cascading in such a beautiful way. You can hear the waves, gentle waves. It's a very pleasing atmosphere. Okay? And he actually takes notice of it. He said, how wonderful this place is. And as he's describing the beauty of the trees, the gardens, the flowers, the bees humming and taking nectar from the flowers, the cool breezes, the cascading waters, suddenly an arrow whizzes past his ear. And when he turns around to see what happened, that arrow has hit a bird. It hit a bird. So there are two birds. They are called crauncha birds in Sanskrit. The word is crauncha. In English, they call it demoiselle crane. Okay, it's a crane. Actually, these cranes actually fly from above the Himalayas, come into India during summer. So one of these two cranes, there was a pair, a male and a female, and they were mating. And while they were mating, a hunter had shot that arrow and killed the male bird. So Valmiki, who was enjoying this scenery, and saw right in the middle of it something so ghastly and dramatic that he became very angry. And that anger came because he felt a lot of sadness and compassion for that bird. After all, they were mating, innocent birds. And a hunter, cruel. By the way, even in hunting, the rules are, at that time they followed rules. The rules were, you cannot shoot when a particular animal is mating. It's against, because they don't get the chance to be alert, because they are so absorbed in the act of courtship. So his anger came from that sense of compassion, and he uttered a curse to the hunter. So before I show you what verse or what curse he uttered, I want to take you back. The context I want you to have is someone who is so spiritually advanced. Should they become angry? We generally think that, hey, anger is for people like Me, not you and me. I was going to say you and me, but me. Okay, for people like me. But someone so advanced, for having chanted Ram's names for thousands of years, we would assume that he has his anger in control. So then our great teachers explain that there are two types of anger. One anger is when something happens to us and we become angry. That is very selfish in nature. That's mundane. But if there is some sense of anger for the cause of some other innocent being hurt, then that anger is not necessarily mundane or selfish. Okay. I mean, that's a big topic for some other time, but just know that Valmiki's anger is not mundane. Like someone cuts you off in traffic and you show them a finger, it's not like that. It's not one of those. It's coming out of a great sense of sadness. Now, sidebar, when you are in a conversation with somebody or a relationship with somebody and they are exhibiting some anger, all right, then just something to understand is anger comes because behind that anger is sorrow. It is actually sorrow that is expressed as anger. And if you peel it further, then behind that sorrow is a cry for love. Always, always, whenever you have, either you're angry with someone in a relationship or someone is angry at you, if you take a pause and look at it, you will always notice that it is a cry for love. That cry for love manifests as sorrow, which then shows out as anger. Okay? Pick any example in your own life, anyone's example, and you will find that to be true. So, Valmiki, the word used in Sanskrit for this kind of sorrow or compassion is shoka. It's called shoka. But in that sense of anger or shoka, he uttered a curse. And that is called a shloka. In Sanskrit, if you remove the half of an L in it, shloka, shoka. Or from shoka came shloka. And when he uttered it, he was shocked. First, that why would I react like that? And then he was shocked at what he had uttered. Okay? So this is what he uttered. So these are the cranes that were shot. One of them was shot. And the female was crying in pain. So this is what he said. He said, Ma nishada pratishthantvam agama shashwati samaha yat krauncha mithunadekam avadhi kama mohitam. That's what he said. Okay. Anyone who knows Sanskrit here? Okay, I also don't know. You know? Little bit. What word do you recognize from this one? Any words you recognize?
That Mohitam.
Mohitam. What does Mohitam mean?
So it is like when happy.
Mohit is here.
So like it is like
Mohit
you,
means enamored. Enamored.
Like you are very enchanted.
Enchanted.
Yeah.
Enchanting. Enchanted. So this is considered to be the seed verse from which Ramayana was born. But he did not know that he was going to write the Ramayana also. He had no idea. He had just said something out of anger and suddenly realized that, oops, I shouldn't have said it. Or why did I say something like that? And that whole afternoon, he was in a very pensive state until Lord Brahma showed up and explained to him, is it here? Oh, I'm going to go back. Okay. So Lord Brahma came to him and said, Valmiki, don't worry. Actually, whatever you said is very, very packed with meaning. And that will be the source by which I want you to write the entire Ramayana. Anyone have an experience like this where you were either angry or upset and you said something without thinking and someone else said, that was fantastic, it helped me a lot. You ever had that experience? You had? I don't want to, if you want to share, you're welcome to share. Okay. You never had? You never uttered great words without even thinking? Huh? It's the opposite. Sometimes you say something, even if you don't mean it, someone will say, that helped me very much. Or, that was very profound. Like, from me? Okay. I guess it happened in Valmiki's case. So this is the intended meaning. This is the curse that he said. Hey, I'm going now. Sorry. So in Sanskrit, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Nishada is a hunter. Okay? So when he says Ma Nishada, Ma means do not. So he says, O hunter, Nishada, because you have killed Avadhi, the male bird, and separated it from his companion. Krauncha, Mithuna, Ekam. Ekam is one, Mithuna means pair. And Krauncha is the bird. So you killed one of that pair. Krauncha, Mithunat, Ekam. Avadhi. When they are approaching the peak of their passion, Kama, Mohita. Kama is passion, that they were united in mating. Mohita means they were not aware of their surroundings. They were so enamored and enchanted with each other or in each other. I curse you that you will be condemned from all ages to come. Agama Shashwati Sama. Sama means equal. Shashwati Sama, equal to eternity. You will never be happy in your life. I mean, he killed a bird. The curse he got was, you will never be happy for the rest of your life. Let all bad things, inauspiciousness come to you. Ma Pratishtantam. Pratishtha, those who speak Hindi, Pratishta means?
First and foremost. First and foremost.
Pratishtha, first and foremost. Another meaning?
Prestige.
Prestige. So, Ma Pratishtha Tvam. You will never find anything worthwhile in your life. What a curse, huh? Unbelievable. Is it like killing a mosquito with a cannonball? For something so small, huge reaction. Have you had people in your life had huge reactions for something perhaps small? Of course, we never think we overreacted for anything. Others perhaps do react that way. Okay, someone's pointing fingers. This is the case. You've heard, there are so many examples where, Will Smith and Chris Rock. Of course, I'm not saying that the joke was okay, but the reaction was way too big. There are many other ways to have reacted. You could have walked out, you could have said this, you could have said that, you could have yelled some expletives from where he was sitting, but to walk up and smack someone, So for example, this is Will Smith had a Valmiki moment for a moment. But he was concerned, like, wow, how did I say something like that? I'm such a sage, I've been sitting here for a very, very long time meditating. I shouldn't have said that. But Lord Brahma told him, no, with what you have said, there is lot hidden in it. And this is what is hidden in it. Some of you are on your phone and it's distracting me. If you don't mind, for the next whatever time, if you could keep your phones away, I'd be appreciative. Thank you. And I'm easily distracted, okay? So the actual meaning is, O Lord Vishnu, or Lord Rama, who is the sitting place of Lakshmi. Where does Lakshmi sit? In the chest of Lord Vishnu. So Nishada means resting place. Seated very close. This Nishada word is another way we use the word Upanishad. You heard the word Upanishad? You're reading Isha Upanishad. So the word Upanishad means something that you sit something you learn by sitting very close to and at a lower position than your guru. That is called Nishada. Upanishada. Alright? So any subject matter that you learn from a teacher with regard and respect is called Upanishad. So Ma Nishada. Nishada is the seating place of Ma, Lakshmi. Right? So he's referring to Lord Ram, who's the consort of or the seating place of goddess Lakshmi. May you is now referring to Lord Ram in this. May you, Tvam, Agama, you get fame, Pratishtha. And what kind of Pratishtha? Agama Shashwati Sama. Eternally famous. May you become eternally famous. Why? For killing Avadhi, Ekam, one, among the couple of demons. That is Ravana and his wife, Mandodari. Yet Krauncha. So the word Krauncha in Sanskrit means to move in a crooked way. Okay. So did Ravana have a crooked life? Yeah. For whatever he has done. So Ravana was like the universal rapist, because he had defiled so many women who were wives of other people. In Vedic context, you never defile someone else's wife. It's a major no-no. But Ravana was like the champion of it. And he also abducted Ramachandra's wife. So, Yat Krauncha Mithunat, namely Ravana, and who was taken over by lust. Ravana was taken over by lust. Kama Mohita. So you see the hidden meaning in this. So Valmiki was very amazed and said, oh, and he sat down to write. The original Ramayana is 1 billion verses with a B. 1 billion. But he summarized it and composed what we have in 24,000 verses. In 24,000 verses, it's divided into 7 cantos. We call Kanda, 7 cantos. So the first canto is called Balakanda. It's the story of Ramachandra's boyhood. Next is called Ayodhya Kanda, where it talks about life in Ayodhya and what happened in Ayodhya. Right? Something happened. That Manthara, through Kaikeyi, made sure that she asked for Bharata to be the king and Ram to go to the forest. So to go into the forest, the third canto is called Aranya Kanda. That what happened in the forest. So in the forest, Sita was abducted and Ramachandra had to take help from Sugriva, the monkeys. So he enters a place called Kishkinda. So the next section is called Kishkinda Kanda. From there, they had to find Sita Devi, and Hanuman had to cross the ocean to go to Lanka to find her, and so it was called Sundara Kanda. Then he brought the news back. They decided they have to go to Lanka and fight the demons, so that section is called Yuddha Kanda. And finally, the backstory of everything. Like in any book, you have an epilogue that tells you what happened previously, why people were the way they were. It's called Uttara Kanda. Now, sidebar. The word Uttara has many meanings in Sanskrit. So one meaning is north, Uttar Pradesh. It means north. So north in the sense additional or epilogue. Another meaning Uttara is for every question you have an answer. So some people have questions. Why was Ravana like this? Who was Hanuman? Why did Ram send Sita to the forest? This is one big issue why people don't have a problem with Ram. He sent Sita to the forest. So all those questions are answered in Uttarakanda. So these 7 form Ramayana. Now this verse that we just saw, actually hidden in it are all the Kandas of Ramayana. Okay? I'm going to show you. You okay with me, or this is... Okay. Even if not, you're stuck with it. So all the cantos are also summarized in this verse. So he says, Ma Nishada. This is the Balakanda. The first part where Ram and Sita actually meet and they get married. So only when they are together does any story begin. So Mahanishada refers to the Balakanda. Pratishtham Tvam Agama, the greatest glory Ramachandra got, that he will always fulfill the word he has given. And two is the order of his father. In fact, wherever in Ramayana Lord Ram is referred to, he is referred to as one who always fulfilled the order of his father. So that Pratishtha, the glory, came from Ayodhya Kanda. Then Shashwati Sama is part of the Aranya Kanda. Why? Because it is from Aranya Kanda that the actual purpose of Lord Ram and Sita's descent was fulfilled. Because unless they came to the forest, Ravana would not come into the sea. Or second, this Kama Mohitam section is also in there because philosophically the question that is very difficult to answer is, when Sita had Ram next to her, why did she want a deer? Philosophically it's treated in many ways, but that's a question. Why would she want a deer after all? And they had lived in the forest for almost 13 years. And they enjoyed the forest like anything. But this one deer changed the entire course of history for that 1 year and after that. Krauncha Mithunad Ekam. Remember, the word Krauncha means walking crooked or behaving crookedly. So Krauncha Mithunad means in a pair of crooked. Do monkeys walk straight? No. Of them, there is a pair of brothers, Vali and Sugriva. And Ramachandra killed Vali. So Krauncha Mithunad Ekam Avadhi is also part of Kishkinda Kanda. And the same applies to Ravana as we saw earlier. So the Kishkinda, Aranya and Yuddha Kanda are referred to by that phrase, Krauncha Mithunad Ekam. And the Yuddha Kanda also, because that is where he is Avadhi, he is killed. Now this Kama Mohitam is the Uttara Kanda. Because what is it that made Ramachandra send Sita to the forest? When she was pregnant. That makes things even more complicated. I've met women who say to me, Rama, no, I cannot handle his heartlessness that he would send his pregnant wife. Oh, actually the phrase they tell is, he banished his pregnant wife. Then I have to explain. One, she was not banished. He didn't throw her out of the house. She was sent to Valmiki's ashram, and there's a whole backstory of why that is the case. But anyway, that's for another time. So this one verse that came in anger, shloka, that came out of Shoka, has so much meaning embedded in it, except it had to be unflurred and opened up for 24,000 verses to explain. So Ramayana is a book that works on different levels. On one level, it's a story about human beings, you, me, and anyone else, because we have some problems in life. We're happily moving along one direction, something happens, and life changes course, right? Or within families, within friendships, within relationships, there are some challenges, some great friendships, some great issues. Two brothers were fighting, a stepmother had something to say, the kingdom went away, they had to make friendships and alliances with someone, somebody else had a problem with Ramachandra's wife, blah, blah, whatever. This is story about you, me, and everyone else. That's on the human level. At a philosophical level, this speaks about the whole Vedic knowledge. Okay? whole Vedic knowledge is embedded in this story about we as jivas, this material world, why we are here, what is karma like, how does karma act, how does the time influence us, right? What is things that we should do, should not do, etc. Then it works at a higher level of Leela. And that's from a spiritual angle, why the Supreme Lord comes into this material world to enact these pastimes. They're called Leelas. Now, we have heard the word avatar, right? Thanks to James Cameron. Or should we say avatar? So when I say the word avatar, what does it mean to you? Form, okay. Aliases.
Incarnation.
Incarnation. What does incarnation word mean?
So,
Karna. Karna means the body or in flesh. Incarnate means take on another body or take on another form. Yes, this is how we usually say, but the word avatara has a very specific meaning. So let's take the word tar. The root word is tara. Tara means to go from here to there. So why are stars, they're called Tara, right? Tara means we are here, they are up there. To ascend means to Tara. But to descend, the opposite is called Avatara, to descend. So whenever Lord Vishnu or here Ramchandra, Krishna, they descend on this mundane platform, that descending is called Avatarana. Literally it means to descend. We are elevated, they are descending to elevate us. Because we have no access to the spiritual realm, someone has to come from there to tell us, to inform us and to take us there. So that is called Avatar. So this entire Ramayana is working on that level of Leela or a play. Now, here's the context I give of play. For many of us, perhaps, anyone acted in a play? Those guys, she has, you've seen a play? Right. So generally what happens in India or any other place, during either Christmas or Ram Navami or Dasera or Janmashtami, people put on plays about Krishna's pastimes or Ram's pastimes. In Delhi, they will dress up like Lord Ram and travel on a chariot. So we enact stories of Ram or Krishna, correct? Or Jesus or any other. Ramayana is Lord Ram and Sita enacting our stories for us. So we get to see our story that they do.